What's going on, guys? We'll make it to another video, and today is another episode of the Schmoedown show. Yes, I know it's been a little bit, haven't done a lot of it. You know, this coronavirus thing came in, screwed everything up, and you know, before we even get started, I just want to say, first off, hopefully you're still staying inside, still staying safe. I know that the world is, I guess, technically looking to start opening up again, but we're not there yet. So still follow the guidelines, follow what everyone is saying, stay inside, stay safe. Hopefully you are safe and not getting sick. And this one's gonna be kind of different. There's not gonna be a lot of commentary in here. A lot of it is just gonna be, we're gonna be going over the matches that we have that have happened since the last episode, which is the live stream between the family and Corruption. And as we know, the family is gone. Drew McQueenie retired. Corruption is playing the Founding Fathers for the championship. And that's what happened. A lot has happened since then. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 matches have happened since then. So we're going to go through them, just kind of talk about them. I'll give you my thoughts. It's tough because there were supposed to be some live events happening. The free-for-all was supposed to have happened already. The Atlanta live event was supposed to happen already. Those obviously got canceled. They're doing 1 match a week now as opposed to 2 because they just don't have shoot days. And so we're working with what we've got. There's some exhibition matches that are going to be coming out. I'm a patron, so I will be getting them. I don't know if I'm going to cover them because I don't know if that's allowed. I mean, they're doing the championship 4-way match this Wednesday. When you're watching this, that would be something kind of cool to talk about, but I don't know. We will see, and we will get into it. So today, all we're doing is going over the 8 matches that had already happened. I'm going to tell you the outcomes. There's a spoiler. Spoilers are done. They're all out on the channel for everyone to see. Give you a little bit of commentary, give you what I think, and then we will go on our merry ways. So guys, first off, if you are new, thank you so much for taking the time to click on the video, liking, commenting, subscribing. The amount of support that I've been getting even during this quarantine lockdown is insane. We finally passed 400 subscribers. I'm going to be talking about a giveaway on Wednesday. We finally passed 400 subscribers. Thank you all so much. Videos on the channel have been booming, like my quarantine Blu-ray collection's booming, my Steelbook collection's booming, like all of that is so, like, thank you so much for the support. It really does truly mean the absolute world. And if you are new and you like the Schmoedown, you like everything involved with the Schmoedown, I am going to be doing more episodes of the Schmoedown show. It's just I've been doing other content, I've been finishing school, finishing a bunch of different stuff. It's been a very wild and wacky time. So that's just how it goes. But there will be more Schmoedown content coming as more matches are played and more content is out there. But without further ado, I think let's stop dilly-dallying and let's just talk about the first match that happened. So the first match we have is Final Exam versus The Experiment. That is Elliot Dewberry and I forget his name. let me just do it real quick so I can just see. Mark Hoyt. I don't know why I blanked on that. And then you had The Experiment, which was Lon Harris and Paul Oyama. And obviously you saw that their Final Exam, I'm sorry. The Experiment is Elliot Dewberry and Mark Hoyt. Final Exam, Paul Oyama, Lon Harris. And I have to say, this Final Exam team is scary. Just scary. You've got Paul Oyama and Lon Harris, who are very, very knowledgeable about all things movies. I mean, obviously, you know, you had Paul Oyama as the former singles champion. You've got Lon Harris, who does this for a living. This is what he does. He knows movies, he knows film. And they just came out and they won their first match. Obviously, you've got Elliot Dewberry and Mark Hoyt. We know a lot about Elliot Dewberry. We don't know that much about Mark Hoyt. And it wasn't that surprising. It was a good match. I love Lon Harris's new character, the Delinquent. It's hilarious. It's a complete 180 from how he used to be. One of my favorite characters in the Schmoedown right now. But yeah, overall, not too surprising. I think that this Final Exam team could be dangerous in the future, so I would definitely watch out for them. because they are going to be turning a lot of heads. That's like the one main thing I would say about that match. And then we move on, and the next match we had one of the two singles matches that were, I guess, like the semifinals to get to a number one contender match, and you had Ethan Irwin taking on Jeff Snyder. I had Irwin going into this match, especially because of the fact that all of the questions from seasons before were being recycled. A lot of the thing about Ethan Irwin is the fact that he doesn't study. It's just knowledge. That I was concerned about getting to him due to the fact that we were kind of getting past basic movie knowledge in the last few seasons. It was getting very nitty-gritty, a lot of plot details, plot points, a lot of very far out of left field questions were being asked. So I was getting a little concerned from Ethan Irwin, but the fact that a lot of easier basic questions were being recycled, he would have an easy time, and he did. There's not too much to really talk about here. Pretty simple, pretty self-explanatory. Ethan Irwin goes on to a number one contender match. We'll talk about the second match in a minute, but the next match we have talking about is Chandra the Chosen taking on Brandon Hanna. This is round 3. It's either 2 or 3 of this rivalry between the Hitman Brandon Hanna and Chandra the Chosen. God, Chandra's dangerous. He is so good. He comes in, and you would think, oh yeah, he's probably a little bit knowledgeable. He probably knows some stuff, but he is like insane level of knowledge. I don't really like how he plays both sides of being a heel or a face. I feel like you kind of need to figure out what you want to be, because he comes out in the costumes and he acts like a face, but then his talk is very heelish, and it's not to the point like the argument with Bibiani where everyone's like, oh, those challenges were very heel-esque. No, I think Bibiani right now is a face. He is. He was challenging a question because he thought it was challengeable. But Chandra, it's his talk, it's his smack talk during the match, it's his interviews that are just like, oh man, this is interesting. So I'm not sold on that yet. I will talk about another match where I wasn't really sold on the heel tendencies. We'll get into that one in a little bit, but Chandra wins, and it was announced on Schmoedown backstage that he actually now will take on Kevin Smets for the Inner Geekdom Championship. I have been wanting to see Chandra in a high tier, high opponent like matchup. Brandon Hanna's good, but he's not like Kalinowski level or Rachel level or Smets level. I feel like Chandra is in the tier just below those three, and I think he could definitely go toe-to-toe. He already has with Smets once. He played Smets and lost, but he went toe-to-toe with him. I would love to see that matchup. I'm waiting for it to happen. I don't know when it's going to happen. It's going to happen eventually, but I'm very excited to see that. That one's very interesting, because I don't think I would still give Smets the edge, but I wouldn't count out Chandra. I think he's a pretty good opponent. Then we move on to the second of the two singles semifinals to get to the number one contender match. We had Paul Oyama, who we talked about earlier in Final Exam, taking on John the Outlaw Roca. I love Roca. I am a Finstock Exchange stan from the start. I love the Five Horsemen. I love everything about it. I was definitely rooting for John Roca, but trying to be unbiased, I did think that it was going to be a very, very interesting match. And Paul Oyama came back and showed that he is not a slouch. Yes, he got KO'd in the singles championship to Ben Bateman, but let's be honest, Ben Bateman's been on a tear and barely lost to Dan Murrell in what is arguably the best Schmoedown match of all time. Paul came back and composed himself so well. He had such a great showing on Final Exam with Lon Harris. They won. He played really well. And he came back in this singles match and played phenomenally. He didn't win. John Roca did. John Roca's playing Ethan Irwin for that number one contender spot. But I'm not taking anything away from Paul Oyama here. He is a class act in this league now. I think he's got his head on straight. He is insane. I follow him on Letterboxd, and every day he is logging like 2 or 3 movies that that he's watching. And yes, quarantine time, you can watch more movies, but like that was before that happened. This kid, which he's older than me, but he's a kid in the league, is going to be special. And yes, he already won the singles belt, but I would not be surprised if he, 1, goes after the singles belt again this year, and 2, goes after the team's belt with Final Exam. He's going to be dangerous this year. He is definitely someone to keep the eyes on, which they already were, but I'm just saying. It was a great match. It was one of the best matches we've had so far this year, and yeah, they came out on top, which is great. Then we have the Pride versus the Butcher Boys, and this is the one. It's been very controversial. I've got some things to say about it. First off, the Pride one. I think Ben Goddard, I love him. He's great. I think he is someone to definitely watch out for. He hasn't really played anyone very high level yet, but he has come into these lower level matchups and wiped the floor, which if you come in and just kind of barely sneak away, you're not proving anything. But the fact that he's coming in and wiping the floor in these matches, that says a little bit. So I have a lot of respect for him. I think he's going to be an up-and-comer that we should watch out for this year. But I gotta say this, and I love the Pride. I love Rachel. I love Ben. I think they're awesome. I think they are great. But I was not fully digging the heel stuff, and I know that's where they're trying to go, and I respect that. I really do, but it didn't work for me. They're trying to get their feet on the ground. I get that. I think they just need to let it mature a little bit, because here's the thing. They're expecting to come and tear into the league and be like these villains that everyone hates. And that's what they were trying to go for, and I get that. And you want to come on strong, but it just didn't work. And I'll say it this way. Rachel, the last few seasons, has been seen as, maybe a tweener, not really, more of a face, not a heel. Ben Goddard is on SEM Live. He seems really like a really good guy. I watch his live streams. He's seems like a really great guy. So you wouldn't see him as a heel. You wouldn't. And he didn't really play like a heel in his singles match. I mean, he did a little bit, like you could tell, but he played it, slightly. He didn't come in all balls to the walls. I feel like they did that in this match, and they came on a little too strong for some people's liking, including myself. As it matures, as they get better, obviously I think it'll be better. I think it'll mature better. I think it'll be fine. I don't have a problem with it. I'm all for it. But they came on a little strong. That's just me. That's all I got to say about that issue. I know it's been a highly controversial issue. That's all I have to say about it. The Pride came in. They took the win. I was happy for them because, again, I am a fan of both of them. I'm a fan of Kate Mulligan. I like her faction. I think it's all great. But still, it came on a little strong. The next match we were going to go to is another very, very big match. And it wasn't a number one contender match, but it was basically very close to being a number one contender match, because obviously Corruption is playing the Founding Fathers. But I would tend to expect that the loser of the championship match will play the winner of this match that we're talking about right now, and that is Who's the Boss versus the Odd Couple. Again, you guys know I love the Finstock Exchange. I love the Five Horsemen. 2 horsemen right there. Ben Bateman, Mark Riley taking on the Odd Couple. I love Roxy Stryer. I love that she is a Boston gal. I think it's awesome. But I'm not the biggest fan of how she acts as I don't know how to say it, because I think she's a great manager. I think she's a great players manager. I think it's awesome. But the way she rips into other competitors is like, but I'm still a fan of hers, so I think she's still really great. So obviously I was, again, I like to get my biases out there for everyone to know. I was rooting for Who's the Boss. But again, the Odd Couple are a great team, and they've proven themselves. They beat the Shire Wolves. They beat the Shire Wolves and took the titles, which is insane. So I give credit to the Odd Couple. I love Mark and Draco. I love Jeff Snyder to a point. I think his shtick is a little much, but that, you know, it's whatever. I mean, it works for him, and it is Snyder, and that works, and it's great. Big controversy again. Alba or Elba. I think it was ruled good enough. It was spelt wrong. It was a last name. I don't believe they should have gotten the point. I know usually spelling doesn't matter, but like when it's when it's not that hard, you say, and when you say it differently. I think you shouldn't get the point. That's what happened. So I agree with that calling. And again, Who's the Boss won. They are one of the better teams in the league right now. Obviously, you've got Ben Bateman coming off that singles domination. Mark Riley is not a slouch. Like, everyone kind of doesn't talk about him. He's not a slouch. You know, he had a few hard defeats at the end of last season, but I'm not taking anything away from him. He is a legend. He is a great player, and he's awesome. And that's really all to talk about. So we've got 2 more matches to talk about here. This next one I'll go through pretty quickly. It's just an introduction singles match. You've got Brittany Young versus Jader, the Hurricane, Paramo. I didn't really know what to think because you had Brittany Young in a celebrity match, and Jader won the fan tournament in Orlando to get a shot. I didn't really know what to expect, so I went into it like, okay, let's check it out. And Jader knew his stuff. I was surprised. He really, really left it out there, and it was great. So I was very happy with that. Great for him. He's a fan that came in and showed his worth. He won, which means we'll get to see him again sometime, and that's great. I'm very happy for him. I'm gonna get too much into that one because there's not really a lot to go off of. They're 2 rookies, first appearances besides Brittany Young, who did the celebrity one. But this is her first like singles appearance, and it worked. I liked it. And then the last one to talk about is we finally, after all this time, have the very hyped, very talked about, much anticipated debut of Robert Parker. He took on Andres Cabrera. And, you know, I love a good Inner Geekdom match. I do. Inner Geekdom is my favorite. If I were to want to play in the Schmoedown, it would be an Inner Geekdom. I could never. I'm trash at movie trivia. But, like, if I were, Inner Geekdom would be my thing. Robert Parker got picked in the 2nd round by Kaiser. Big, like, whoa, controversy. You have Kevin Smets. Why are you taking another Inner Geekdom player? It showed. He didn't TKO, he KO'd Andres Cabrera. And Andres, you know, he's played before, he knows his stuff. But Robert Parker with just the absolute domination. Like, what was the final score? I forget. Let me take a look. I have them pulled up here just for reference. 23-8. This is the final score. Like, what? And they didn't. It was just the 2nd round. They didn't even make it to the 3rd round. He scored 23 points. That's insane. This kid is insane. So I am officially, like, I know it's a first match, but how swiftly he did it. It's like I said with Ben Goddard earlier. Yeah, it's his first match, but he did it with such a swiftness and such a dominating fashion. It's like a Kevin Smets who came in and just KO'd people, and it didn't matter, and he wiped the floor. That's what this is like. That's what this resembles. We got to see a few more matches of him. We do, but it was definitely a sight to see, and he really, really did live up to the hype. But guys, that is pretty much it. Let me know down below in the comments, what did you think about anything we talked about today? We covered a lot. We covered controversy. We covered the matches. We covered rookies. We covered veterans. We covered everything. Let me know what you think about any of these things down below. Thank you all so much for taking the time to check out the video. That is pretty much it. we're going to be doing the giveaway. I'm going to announce that on Wednesday, so make sure if you want to enter this giveaway, you go check out the video on Wednesday. It's going to be another movie review. Go check it out. But guys, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for taking the time to click on the video, like, and comment, subscribe again. Comment down below what you think about anything we talked about today, Schmoedown related. If you have not already checked out the Schmoedown, make sure you go check them out. They are awesome. But guys, that is pretty much it. Have a great rest of your day. We'll see you in the next video.